Hi, my name is Hunter, and this is my reflection for my day at Chinook Helicopters.
From geotechnical, mining exploration, to crop dusting, to heli skiing, to forest fighting, to wildlife viewing and safaris. So that's really what it's done for me.
That was Mateo, and he just got his helicopter license at Chinook Helicopters. I was lucky enough to go to Chinook Helicopters about 2 weeks ago, interview him, spend a day in the hangars, and see what it's like to really get your license and the true realities of it. It has always been a dream of mine. Ever since my first flight, I remember always wondering what it's like being at the front of the plane. Being the one who gets to experience soaring above the clouds every day seems like such a dream job, and you get paid to do it. I've always wanted to be involved in the aviation industry, but I feel like at some point every kid's wanted to be a pilot or a helicopter pilot, and I think I needed some real-world exposure and a kind of an insight to the realities of actually getting your license.
Now your tail rotor's out. Now what are you going to do? Okay, now, there's always something that they're putting you through.
Yeah, again, that was Mateo, and the realities can be harsh, but it's good to have a full understanding of what you're getting yourself into before you start, because it's a massive investment of money and time and a huge commitment that could last a whole career, or if you don't like it, then you just got to figure out a way to back out and just kind of know what you're getting yourself into. After getting a full morning going around the Chinook Helicopters, hangars, and offices, I got a pretty good idea of what it's really like to get your own license and how long and difficult it really is. After seeing all the aircraft in action and what the possibilities are with your license, my mind got blown away by how much you can really do. If you get your helicopter license, you can be a heli ski pilot, a private pilot, bring people to remote locations, search and rescue, land almost anywhere, and the job opportunities are endless. I was always interested in being involved in aviation, preferably the one flying the aircraft, but I never really understood how diverse helicopters were and how different they really were from airplanes, until when I went to Chinook Helicopters.
Whether it's to go fishing at a lake or to go camping somewhere or to go into the mountains, you can do it with a helicopter, but you can't do it with an airplane. And so that's why I thought it would be better for around here. If I was living in Edmonton, I probably would have done an airplane, not a helicopter.
My time at Chinook Helicopters was so inspiring and really gave me an idea and kind of some exposure to the classes I need to take and what I need to do post-secondary and all that. Sort of give me the right idea of where I need to go in order to, follow my dreams. Afterwards, we drove out to a local coffee shop, and I was lucky enough to have the chance to interview Mateo and ask him a couple questions about his journey, how he got there, why he chose Chinook Helicopters, and just some advice for me since I'm considering taking the same path. First, I asked Mateo why he chose Chinook Helicopters to pursue.
Was the biggest school. It's the most well-known internationally, and I think that's important if you're looking to get a job. You don't want to have like a little boutique school that only has one instructor and one helicopter.
It's gonna look good, yeah.
Yeah, they've got a lot of helicopters and really good instructors. I got to train with 3 different instructors, and each instructor has their own nuances and ways of teaching. And so by having some more instructors, it gives you better experience.
Yeah. Then I was really curious about what the most memorable moment of his journey was.
Part of your training is you have to do a solo long-haul flight, and I did that, and I went quite a long flight, first up to Hope and then up to the end of Stave Lake, and it was probably over 2 hours of flying, but it was all on my own, and that was pretty cool. And then another flight or milestone would be when I started flying at night. That usually in the daylight, you're looking at fields and farms and places where you could land. You're always thinking, if I had to land that big empty spot over there, I could land. But at night, you can't, because all those empty spots are blackness, and they could be full of trees, they could be full of power lines. So at night, the only place you can land is a place with lights, which is basically a parking lot or a road, which is not where you would normally land.
No, not at all.
So you don't really want to crash at night. That's pretty, there's not many options, but that was kind of cool.
Awesome. So since I'm so interested in becoming a pilot of sorts, I was really curious about what the biggest challenge in his journey was.
Biggest challenges were trying to do the training while I was still running my companies and looking after my family. So it took me 2 years to do all of my training, and you can do it as quick as 4 months. So that was a little bit tough. Sometimes having to keep all that in my mind fresh, and all those books and all that knowledge.
Next, I asked what skills he learned were the most valuable in his training.
I guess to be a pilot, you have to know all of the emergency procedures.
And then Matteo talked about how knowing all the procedures and all the protocols and what to do, once you know everything, it makes flying a helicopter way easier, getting your license way easier, and the skill is really valuable when it comes to flying and feeling safe. Lastly, I asked him for some advice. Since I'm considering to take a similar career path, or at least I want to, it's always been a dream of mine, and I feel a little bit intimidated by the process. I asked him what his advice would be for someone like me.
Once you start doing it, stay committed, and just make sure it's something you want to do, and do all the research. Talk to as many other people as you can. Make sure helicopters are what you want to do, because while the radio training and a lot of the procedures are transferable, it's a different license for playing in a helicopter. You'd have to do it.
Thank you so much, Matteo, for giving me, a tour around Chinook helicopters and just getting an insight and kind of showing me what it's really like to get your license, some advice, and thank you so much for the whole interview again. I just really appreciated it, and it honestly, I think it was the thing that inspired me and is going to be the start of that next chapter of me deciding helicopter, fixed wing, and really taking that next step to follow my dreams. So just thank you so much for listening to this episode, and thank you, Matteo, for letting me have a day with you at the hangars.